Hi, I'm Dave with Louette, and we've got our new Harmony loom, and I'm going to do a video on the assembly of that. Hopefully help people out as they're receiving their looms now and in the future. This is July 2025 for people who end up watching this video years later. So here's the box. Everything is packaged for the loom all in one. The bench and floor stand are going to be in a separate box, and then we'll have a bundle price and package. But I've got the loom right now by itself, and we'll do things separately for the floor stand and the bench. I'm going to lay everything out, and we'll get started on assembling our blue Harmony. Okay, we're going to start with assembling the sides and the back beam and warp beam, warp beam. So here are the two sides. You've got this block already pre-mounted, and that is going to be supporting the beater. So that's the front side. Okay, the beater is on the front side. So you can orient your two sides right and left in this way. These blocks are on the inside, the sliding rail is on the inside. Then we're going to take, I'll show you this as well. So we've pre-mounted the handle for the beam and the ratchet, and pre-mounted everything inside the side, as well as the pawls here. You've got a little magnet to help keep the pawl in place on both sides. And they're sitting there waiting for the accompanying ratchet. So let's start by attaching the back beam. I'm going to take the back beam and take all the screws that attach the side from all the different angles are the same size. This 5x50 millimeter screw, and we can just put that in place. The ratchet the pawl is a little bit in the way, so just move it around to be able to get it through. And let's see if I turn this around so you can see this piece. We're just going to screw that in place. Nothing super complex. Okay, that's good. So you can see that the ratchet pawl is very close to the screw. When it's actually in operation, it's going to be moving like this, so it doesn't interfere at all. But if your ratchet has come around to this side like that, then you need to push it around, and if you can't, just loosen the screw from the pawl, and then it will be able to move, and then you can tighten the screw from the pawl again. And the pawl has to be able to move freely, so you don't never tighten this screw completely. Okay, and then we're going to take the beam and we're going to push it through here. Now, I've pre-assembled this loom to practice a little bit. There is a dowel that prevents the beam from coming out. That was inserted, we couldn't get it out, so it's cut off. So you see me struggling a little putting this beam in. That's the reason why, because I'm dealing with something that I had pre-assembled previously. So you won't have that same issue. And I'll show you on the other beam here. Here's the hole for the dowel on this beam that I just put in place. That's already plugged. And we'll show you where to insert the dowel later on. Okay, so we've got the left side assembled here. And now we're going to attach the right side. So make sure you orient it correctly, and then just slip the screw in. The beam is going to fit into the end here. That's not drilled fully through. That's also how you know this is the left side. And so you're going to fit the beam into that hole, and then the screw will go into the pilot hole of the back beam, and we tighten that up. Okay, now we have the two sides together. Put it on the table like this. And now we're going to grab the castle and we're going to install the castle section. It's important to have only one side done so that it has some flexibility to for us to be able to put the castle in, and then later on we'll put the front beam and the cloth beam in place. Okay, so now we're going to assemble the castle section. So we've pre-assembled this whole piece for you, installed the rollers and everything like that. And now we've got two hinge points that look like this. You might know them as shelf supports in a kitchen cupboard kind of environment. So we're going to put one on this side. There's only one hole that it really would fit into. And I'm going to put one on the other side. And then I'm going to take it over to the sides. We've got a small hole here. This kind of triangle section here, you're going to put that right inside like this. And then the same thing on the other side. And because it's got no front beam support, you want to pull the sides together to keep them together. Then you're going to take one of these bolts and the hole on the side here, inside this hole, there's a threaded nut, and you're going to screw that into the nut, and then it's going to go right through this upright support into the hole that you may be able to see right here. Okay, it's the bottom of these holes, that's where it's going to fit into. So you're holding it approximately there, just screw this through, and you can just see between the upright and the side here, and once your bolt starts to poke through, then you can feel for that hole. See, now I've got it in the hole, and you can finish tightening it up. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Turn this a little bit. I'm doing this in a little awkward way to facilitate the camera, but you can, of course, do it a little simpler. And this is what you're going to use when you want to fold the loom. So when you're weaving, this is going to be upright as it is. All right, and that's it, firm in place. And when you want to fold the loom, you're going to turn these out until the end of the bolt has been withdrawn out of the side on both sides, and that way it will be able to fold in place. Similarly, we have a locking position here and here for the beater. So once we have the beater installed, when you fold the loom and when you travel with your loom, you can lock the beater in place so it's not going to slide around. This is also used when we're actually initially setting up the beater. Okay, we're on the front side now, putting the beam in. We'll put the stopper in once it's in place. One thing I got to say, if you hear the background music and singing, we got an enthusiastic group of employees, so they're having fun on a Friday afternoon, or actually Friday morning. Anyway, here we go. That fits in like that. You've got to take the pawl on the other side here, just pull it back so you can get it in the last little way. And then this back beam will, front beam, sorry, will tie it all together. That's one. And just to make sure this piece stays in, because it'll have a tendency as I'm screwing to fall out, and you just have to keep putting it back in place. I just did there, pushed a little bit, and it pulls out of the loom apart until it's secured here. So I'm just holding and giving a bit of counter pressure here to keep it all together while I'm screwing it in. Now, see, like that, it'll just fall out. And then we have to we go. And then the last step is to put the, see, this is why this dowel is needed, because this could otherwise be pushed out. Get this back into place. I was just lifting the pawl back here to let the ratchet go by. Now I'm going to put this dowel in the hole here. Just hold it a little bit and use a little rubber mallet. Tap that in. And it's not going to fall apart anymore. And we've got movement here. And we're all set. Okay, now we're going to attach the toggle block. I've put the 2 screws in place so they just stick out a little bit on this side, and then you can find the hole position correctly, and just holding it like this, you can screw it in place. And then once I'm finished this, we'll switch over to the next step. Next step is to attach the toggle hinges. I've installed the first one. After the first one is installed, then you put a toggle on the pin, and then put the next one, there it is, and then just hold that in place, put a screw in, screw it down, and then we put the next one in, same thing, and just go through all of them until all 8 are attached. Next, we're going to assemble the shaft bars. So you simply put one end into the top and bottom of the shaft side and just push it in like that. Then we're going to put a bundle of heddles over top like that. Now we put that aside, do a second one. And then push that in like that. Because we're going to split this bundle. Oh, I see I twisted the bundle. You see here? I twisted the bundle around. That has to be turned over like that. Okay, deep like that. So now we're going to take the twist ties off. Basically, we're splitting the bundle in half, so roughly 50 heddles. If you want to count them out exactly, feel free. I just ballpark 50 heddles on one, 50 heddles on the other. Split them roughly in half here. And that's about right. And then you cut the one heddle through the middle, and then you can pull the half one way and half the other way, and now put a harness end on the other end. Make sure that you orient the top of the shaft side the same way. So both sides have the top on the top. Like that. And that's complete. Whoa. So now just continue with this process until all 8 shafts are assembled, and then we'll go to the next step. So now we're attaching the elastics. The elastics you put in from the outside side hole here, and then you put a knot in the end, right in the end of the elastic, so that it gets buried inside the shaft side, like that. Do another one. All right, so now we've done all the shafts with the elastics. There is one elastic left over. We always send one extra. That's just for a reserve. These elastics can lose their elasticity over time, especially if they're left in beside a window where there's direct sunlight on them. If it's stored and there's sunlight on them, dry areas, they'll dry out quicker than otherwise. But just note that this is something you'll probably have to replace at some point. Other thing I forgot to mention with the heddles, there's little loops on the ends of the heddles, and you should take a pair of scissors and just cut the loops like this. It just makes it easier to move them around, slide them around as you need them later on. Otherwise, they're always attached to each other, and that can lead to some frustration. So just a simpler way of using Texsolf heddles is just cutting those loops. Okay, so now we're going to put the harnesses in place. First thing is to take the elastic cord. We're going to do shaft 8 first. Okay, so then the elastic goes around the bottom rollers here and all the way to the back to be shaft 8. And it just sits here like that for right now. Next, you take one of the shaft cords, and it's going to be imbalanced because the path from here to here and here to here are different lengths, but for each one I find it easiest just to double the cord so you have the same length, and then we can adjust later on. Start by putting the cord through the hole with the toggle facing down, and then loop it around like that. Then guide it to the rollers here in the back, and make sure that the left goes left and the right goes right, meaning that when they come through the hole here, there's an obvious left and right. Don't cross them because that can cause additional friction. All right, now you've got two cords, and what we're going to do next is take the end of this cord. We're going to put it from the inside to the outside through the hole here. Then you wrap it around to the back, and there are two little notches on the tip here, one on the back, one on the front. The cord goes in those notches eventually. So we loop it around the back and then come around the front, and then see this loop on this side? You put the tail through that loop and you pull so that these cords are in that little groove I was just talking about. Now we're going to pull this. You can pull to adjust higher, or and then if you need to lower it, you use your fingernail and just pull this out like that, and then you can lower it. But we're going to pull these and adjust them so they're just above the roller here. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. On the inside, wrap around the back, so it's just above. And what I also do is, once you get it to the height you think, push down like that just to tighten up the knots so that there's no extra space. And now you can't quite see it probably because the wood's in the way, but just a little bit on the roller. So I'm going to give it another little tug and then push down to tighten that cord. The same thing here. Now this one's too low. Just give it some pressure, and we'll do a final leveling of the harnesses later on. But for now, that's good. Just leave the excess cord here for now. Later on, when we're comfortable, everything's adjusted to approximately the right height, then we can snip them off and singe the ends where needed. This one, I would leave this one at that length, but I will cut this one to about this length later on. We'll go through that process. Okay, so now we're going to take the next cord and do the same thing. Push it down, see how much it dropped again. That's a little too much. Okay, and now we'll keep on going with the rest of them, and you will see. Oh, let me show you this bit first. See? Okay, now we're going to assemble the beater. And so take the bottom of the beater bar and place it on top of the blocks here. In the end, we're going to want to kind of center it on these blocks. You've got grooves in the here so that you can adjust it left or right. We also want to make sure that this piece, this block, and this is square. So we've got a little measuring guide to make sure that it's square. The first thing we're going to do is insert, well, actually, I took one step already, sorry. Blocking bolts like the ones that we had in the center of the loom. And I've already installed them to block this block so it can't move, and that fastens the beater. I've done the same thing on the other side. Then we'll put the bolts in place. These are the bolts that tie the top of the beater to the bottom of the beater. And that kind of centers this way, the bottom beater bar. And then we're going to put a screw in on this corner and then this corner. And we're going to screw it in 95% of the way. And then the last little bit you can do once we put the squaring block in place. Just like that. All right, so from this point, now both of them are leaning a little bit. So see this movement here, we've got movement, this one. So now I'm going to take my squaring block, and I'm going to put it underneath here. And make this square, okay? Bend it a little bit, and now we've got it square. We fasten this screw completely. Okay, good and snug. Just work on it until you're comfortable that it's square, and then screw it in completely so it's good and solid. Like that. Then we're going to take 2 more screws and screw the other side down. Now that it can't move, you want to get it good and snug. These ones are particularly important because they're going to get a lot of force, because that's where the beater is, right? You're beating, so you're creating force. So you want that to be good and secure. If you find you're using a drill machine and it's too difficult to get it in place, you can take these out at this point as needed while you're screwing in. The holes are a little on the snug side, so the guide holes. So if you need more force, then maybe a drill is a good option. Okay, so from there, we'll take the top beater bar. Grab my reed. And we'll put it in between here. Put the beater handle above. Drop in a bolt. Find the hole. And then just, again, there's a bit of a groove here to adjust the squareness as needed. So you just adjust things. See, now it's still loose, but I've got the beater isn't quite centered between the two. You just adjust that like that, and then you can tighten it down. There we go. And now it's still locked, so we'll undo the lock. The locking is very important because trying to square things up with the lock undone, it just gives it too much flexibility and things are moving around too much. So we highly recommend locking the blocks in place in order before you start getting into the adjusting of the or installation of the beater. I'm still too far in. You don't have to take the bolts right out, you just have to get them so that they're free. There you go. These are sliding over. Now we can adjust the tie-up cords, and that is done by putting a screw through the loop here and screwing it into place. Hold the beam so it doesn't turn on you. And I like to hold the cord too so that it stays in place. And then the next cord you attach both. So you first put a screw through the loop of this one. And you continue in this way for the rest here and into the back, the warp beam as well. And then our loom is assembled. All we have left is leaf sticks, tie-up cords, and warp sticks. So your loom is fully assembled now. We can work on it. I would leave these like this. Once you put your first warp on, you can see if the height is of the shafts are where you want. The initial warp thread should be level with like resting on the beater here. If they're not, and that depends on the height compared to the heddle eye. If they're not, then you raise all the harnesses a little bit to get them to that point. And then once you've got that position set, then you can cut these off and singe the ends so they don't fray. Okay, so that's put a warp on to get the final best ideal positioning warp threads, or of the harnesses. Ultimately, like I said, the heddle eye needs to be at the same height as the bottom of the reed here. If it's lower, you're going to be pulling, the warp threads are going to be pulling downwards, and that will actually reduce the size of your shed. So the maximum size of shed, the warp thread should be coming through and just resting just above, a millimeter above, kind of thing, on your shovel race. Yeah, otherwise that's the end of this presentation. I'll keep going here, and we'll talk to you next time. If you do have any questions or concerns, go to our support page on our website. Click the link to open a ticket on our Zendesk system, and someone will answer you as quickly as we can. Usually that happens within 24 hours. I would call that in the neighborhood of 90% of the time. We do our best there. So Louette's support page for any questions, and we'll continue to put additional articles there for self-help questions. If we do get questions from people about certain things, I'll write some articles to explain the solutions, so that future owners can see those same, might have those same questions and be able to find the answers without having to wait for us to respond. Okay, thank you very much, and hope you enjoy your harmony.